Don't forget to like and subscribe to follow the next interesting stories. And if you have any feelings about the story, leave your opinion in the comment section. We look forward to hearing from you. Now, let's listen to this dramatic and touching story. What if your life's work was stolen in the dead of night, leaving you with nothing but a ticking clock to fight back? My name is Liam Hayes, a 29-year-old industrial designer who'd poured 3 years into my masterpiece, a revolutionary eco-friendly car frame dubbed Green Pulse. I worked out of a cramped garage in Detroit, sketching designs by candlelight when the power cut out, my hands trembling from exhaustion but fueled by a vision to revolutionize the auto industry. Green Pulse wasn't just a design. It was my ticket out of poverty, my chance to prove I wasn't the failure my family had labeled me. The prototype was nearly complete. A sleek frame made from recycled materials that could cut emissions by 40%. I'd secured a meeting with Titan Motors, a giant in the industry, set for next week, a make-or-break moment. But I wasn't the only one with eyes on that prize. Enter Julian, my former mentor turned ruthless rival. We'd met years ago when I was an intern at his design firm, Pierce Innovations. He taught me the ropes, praised my talent, but when I struck out on my own, his jealousy flared. Julian was a shark, charming in public, cutthroat behind closed doors. I'd caught wind of his struggling company, drowning in debt after a failed luxury car project. Green Pulse was his lifeline, and he'd stop at nothing to get it. I should have known better than to trust him, but I'd let my guard down. The betrayal came on a stormy Friday night. I'd stepped out to grab takeout, leaving my garage unlocked for just 20 minutes. When I returned, the place was trashed, drawings scattered, tools smashed, and my prototype gone. My heart stopped. A note lay on the floor, scrawled in jagged handwriting. "Nice work, Liam. It's mine now. Back off or else." Panic surged as I realized Julian had struck. I called the police, but without proof, they shrugged it off as a break-in. My meeting with Titan Motors loomed, and without Green Pulse, I had nothing to show. I confronted Julian the next day at his sleek office, my voice shaking with rage. "You stole my design," I yelled. He smirked, leaning back in his chair. "Prove it, kid. You're just a nobody with no evidence. Walk away, or you'll regret it." The threat hung in the air like a guillotine. That night, my phone buzzed with an anonymous text. 24 hours to drop this, or your garage burns." My blood ran cold. I barricaded the doors, my mind racing. Julian wasn't bluffing. He'd hired thugs to intimidate me. I couldn't sleep. Pacing with a baseball bat, the storm outside mirroring the chaos within. The next morning, I found a slashed tire on my car, a clear warning. Titan Motors called, impatient for my pitch. But I had no prototype, no leverage. My savings were gone, my reputation in tatters, and my family's taunts. "You'll never make it," echoed louder. Julian's company announced a new eco-car launched the following week, a design eerily similar to Green Pulse. The betrayal fueled a fire in me. I wasn't going down without a fight. Desperation drove me to my old friend, Mia, a tech-savvy lawyer I'd met in college. "Julian stole my design," I said, my voice breaking. "I need proof fast." She nodded, her eyes narrowing. "We'll need something concrete. emails, sketches, anything linking him to the theft. I racked my brain. I'd emailed Julian a progress update months ago, trusting him as a mentor. Maybe that was my lifeline. But time was running out. The 24-hour deadline loomed, and with it, the threat of my garage and my dreams going up in flames. I dug through old files, my hands shaking, finding the email with an attached sketch. It wasn't much, but it was a start. Mia warned me, this could take weeks in court, and Julian's got money to bury you. Are you ready for this war? I wasn't sure, but I had no choice. That night, as rain battered the garage, I heard footsteps outside. My pulse pounded as I gripped the bat, peering through a cracked window. A shadowy figure lingered, then vanished. The threat was real, and the stakes had never been higher. Julian's launch would cement his theft, and I'd be ruined. But beneath the fear, a plan began to form. I'd hidden a backup, a digital blueprint of Green Pulse on an encrypted USB, stashed in a safe I'd built into the wall. If I could get that to Mia before the deadline, we might have a chance. The clock was ticking, and my rival's empire was about to face a reckoning. The 24-hour deadline from Julian's anonymous threat loomed like a death sentence, each tick of the clock amplifying the danger. I barricaded myself in the garage, the air thick with tension as rain lashed the windows. My hands trembled as I pried open the wall safe, retrieving the encrypted USB containing the digital blueprint of Green Pulse. This wasn't just a backup, it was my ace, a complete 3D model I'd created in secret, fearing someone might steal my work. I'd never shared it, not even with Mia, keeping it locked away as insurance. Now, it was my only hope against Julian's treachery. I plugged it into my laptop, the screen glowing with the intricate design, curves, angles, and ecotech specs that made Green Pulse unique. If I could get this to Mia, we might prove Julian's theft before his launch. Mia met me at a dimly lit diner outside town, her face grim. This USB could be gold, she said, her voice low. But Julian's got lawyers and muscle. We need more, something that ties him directly to the break-in. I racked my brain, the pressure mounting. Then it hit me. My security camera hidden above the garage door. A cheap model I'd installed after a previous break-in. I'd forgotten to check it, too panicked to think straight. Racing back, I climbed a ladder, heart pounding as I retrieved the footage. The video was grainy, but there it was, Julian, masked but recognizable by his distinctive limp, slipping into my garage with a crowbar. My breath caught. This was the smoking gun. But the victory was short-lived. That night, my phone buzzed again. You're out of time. Last warning. Minutes later, a Molotov cocktail crashed through the window, igniting a small fire. I doused it with a fire extinguisher, coughing through smoke, my adrenaline surging. Julian's thugs meant business. I grabbed the USB and footage, fleeing to Mia's office as sirens wailed in the distance. She watched the video, her eyes widening. This is enough for a restraining order and a lawsuit, she said. But Julian's launch is in 3 days. We need to move fast, file tomorrow, or he'll unveil Green Pulse as his own. The clock was a noose tightening around my neck. I worked feverishly with Mia, drafting a lawsuit claiming theft, copyright infringement, and intimidation. We subpoenaed Julian's emails, hoping to find the one I'd sent him with the sketch. The risk was enormous. Julian could countersue, draining my meager funds, or his thugs could strike again. I installed extra locks, slept with one eye open, and carried a pocket knife. Rumors swirled that Pierce Innovations was buzzing with prep for the launch, a glitzy event at Detroit's convention center. Titan Motors had RSVP'd, and my meeting with them was canceled. Julian had stolen my shot. Despair gnawed at me, but the USB burned in my pocket like a promise. Then a breakthrough. Mia hacked into Julian's trash email folder, legally, with a court order, and found my old email, the sketch attached, time-stamped months before his break-in. He replied, calling it genius. She said, her voice triumphant. This proves he knew it was yours. My heart raced. We had evidence, but Julian's launch was 48 hours away. I pushed Mia to file the lawsuit immediately, knowing it might not stop him in time. That night, a car slowed outside my garage, headlights blinding me. I ducked, hearing a gunshot shatter a window. Panic seized me, but I grabbed my phone, calling Mia. "They're coming for me," I gasped. "Get the cops here, now." The police arrived, securing the scene, but the damage was done. My nerves were frayed, my safe haven violated. Mia arrived, pale but determined. "We've filed the lawsuit," she said. "It's public record. Julian will know by morning. Be ready, he'll fight dirty." I nodded, clutching the USB. The launch was my deadline, and Julian's empire was about to face a storm. My design, my life's work, was at stake, and I'd risk everything to take him down. The morning of Julian's launch dawned with a suffocating tension. The lawsuit was public, splashed across tech news with headlines like "Design Theft Scandal Rocks Pierce Innovations." I watched from a safe house Mia had arranged, my heart pounding as live streams showed Julian strutting onto the convention center stage, a smug grin plastered on his face. The eco-car, a near-exact replica of Green Pulse, gleamed under spotlights, and the audience, investors, journalists, Titan Motors execs, applauded. Behold the future. Julian boomed, unveiling the car. My stomach churned. He thought he'd won, but the clock was ticking on his downfall. Mia burst in, her phone buzzing. "We got a court date. Tomorrow morning," she said. "But Julian's countersuing, claiming you stole from him. He's got a fake paper trail." My blood boiled. The man had no shame. That night, a black SUV circled the safe house, its tinted windows ominous. A brick crashed through the window, a note attached. "Drop the suit, or you're dead." I clutched the USB, my hands shaking. The threat was escalating, and time was slipping away. Mia called the police again, but they warned, "We can't guarantee your safety until the trial." I felt like a hunted animal, my every move watched. The next morning, I arrived at the courthouse, flanked by Mia and 2 bodyguards she'd hired. The room was packed, journalists, Julian's lawyers, and a smug Julian in a tailored suit. The judge, a stern woman named Judge Hargrove, called the session to order. Mia presented our case. The security footage, the email with my sketch, the USB with the original blueprint. Julian's team countered with forged documents, claiming I'd sold him the design. The tension was palpable, the air thick with whispers. Then, Mia played her trump card, a forensic analysis of the footage, proving Julian's limp matched his gait, and a timestamp on my email predating his theft by 6 months. The room gasped. Julian leapt up, his face red. "This is a setup," he shouted. "He's framing me." But the evidence was damning. Judge Hargrove's gavel slammed down. "Mr. Pierce, you're ordered to cease production of the eco-car pending investigation. A preliminary injunction is granted." The crowd erupted, cameras flashing. Julian glared at me, his empire teetering. But the victory was bittersweet. His countersuit lingered, and his thugs were still out there. That afternoon, as I left the courthouse, a car screeched toward me.
I dove aside?
The bodyguards tackling the driver, a hired gun with a silenced pistol. The police swarmed, arresting him, but my heart raced. Julian wasn't done. Mia rushed me to a new hideout, her voice urgent. "We've got him on the ropes, but he'll appeal. We need Titan Motors to back us." I called their CEO, Mr. Larson, pleading my case. "Green Pulse is mine," I said. "Julian stole it. Help me prove it." He hesitated, then agreed to a private meeting. Tomorrow, if I brought the USB. The stakes were sky high. If Titan sided with me, Julian's company would collapse. That night, I barely slept. The USB, my lifeline. At 2 a.m., a Molotov cocktail exploded outside, setting the hideout's yard ablaze. I escaped through a back window, my lungs burning, vowing to end this. The next day, I met Larson at Titan's headquarters, the USB trembling in my hands. I demoed GreenPulse, explaining its ecotech. Larson nodded, impressed. "If this holds up, we'll partner with you," he said. "But we need the court's final ruling." As I left, a text from Mia lit up my phone. "Julian's appealing, but his finances are crumbling. One more push." The battle wasn't over, but the tide was turning. Julian's empire was cracking, and my revenge was within reach. The final courtroom showdown arrived like a storm breaking over Detroit.
Isat bezidemia.
My bodyguards flanking us as Judge Hargrove reconvened the case. Julian's lawyers fought fiercely, throwing every trick, witness tampering allegations, bribery claims, but the evidence was a fortress. The security footage, the email, the USB blueprint, and now a whistleblower from Pierce Innovations, a disgruntled engineer who'd seen Julian alter my design, tied the noose tighter. The room buzzed with tension, Julian's face a mask of fury. When the judge ruled, her voice cut through the chaos. Pierce Innovations is liable for theft and fraud. All production of the eco-car is halted, and damages will be assessed. The gavel slammed, and the crowd erupted. Julian's empire crumbled before my eyes. But the victory came at a cost. That night, as I returned to a temporary apartment, a car bomb detonated outside, shattering windows. I escaped with minor cuts, the police arresting 2 more of Julian's henchmen. The danger was real, but justice was sweeter. Titan Motors called the next day, Larson's voice firm. "We've reviewed your design, Liam. We're signing a $20 million contract with you for Green Pulse." Julian's out. My knees buckled. The stolen design was mine again, and with Titan's backing, I'd build my own company, Hayes Innovations. Julian's downfall was swift. His company filed for bankruptcy, investors pulling out as the scandal spread. He was indicted for fraud and intimidation, his reputation in ruins. I watched the news, his mugshot flashing, and felt a cold satisfaction. My family, who'd mocked my dreams, called in tears. "We're sorry, Liam," my mom sobbed. "We didn't believe in you." I forgave them, but their approval no longer defined me. I hired Mia as my legal counsel, her loyalty unshakable, and assembled a team to launch Greenpulse. The first prototype rolled out 6 months later, a sleek marvel that cut emissions by 45%, exceeding my wildest hopes. The media dubbed me the revenge designer, my story inspiring startups across the industry. Forbes featured me, and TED invited me to speak on innovation under pressure. I used my platform to mentor young designers, ensuring no one faced the theft I'd endured. My garage, once a battleground, became my office, a symbol of my rise. One evening, as I stood there, a letter arrived, anonymous, but the handwriting matched Julian's note. "You won," it read, "but I'll be watching." I burned it, a smirk on my face. He was broken, and I was unbreakable. Hayes' innovation soared, valued at $50 million within a year, with Greenpulse adopted by cities worldwide. I bought my family a house, not out of duty, but to show them the man I'd become. My parents wept, hugging me, their pride genuine. Mia became my partner, and together we built a legacy. The stolen design had nearly destroyed me, but it forged me into a titan. Julian's threat lingered, a shadow I'd outrun. My revenge complete in the roar of every Greenpulse on the road. Thank you for following the story. If you like emotional and dramatic stories like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to read more interesting stories.